Ohio State does more than just add 4 and 5-star recruits. They find players that are going to fit their program long term.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Back into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, and thank you very much for checking out the Portal Podcast after dark. We are here at 9 p.m. Eastern, Sunday through Thursday each week, talking all things recruiting, NIL, transfer portal. And now with the season here, fall camp, little prediction time, having some fun throughout the chat, and we'll have some of those as well for entire features. But today, we're going to talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes. The recruiting notes that I'm going to have will be an extension of that. Some of the kids that have committed here recently. But let's start off with who's committed to Ohio State, why it's different, and how they're balanced between the prep ranks and the transfer portal. Keep that being a well-oiled machine. So number one, the number one position in a sport is quarterback. Name a team that does a better job of consistently bringing in good arms that truly fit what a program does than the Buckeyes. I cannot think of one. There are other teams that are at least in the conversation, but year after year, Ohio State brings in a quality quarterback, and that's the difference between being a good football program and one that can compete for Big Ten and potentially national titles on a yearly basis. Every year they get somebody. You don't know how quarterbacks are going to work out. Go look at the class of 2022 if you need proof, but like the top 25 guys, none of those kids hit at an elite level. None of them. Everybody misses at quarterback sometimes, but when you get as many good ones as they do in terms of arm talent, guys that have had quarterback trainers, have been advanced, have been on the national circuit, been in Elite 11, nobody does a consistent job like Ohio State at that spot. Then you move to the trenches. I made a note here. In the last 3 years, the Buckeyes have signed 14 offensive linemen out of the prep ranks, plus they got Phillip Daniels to transfer in last year. He's a kid out of Princeton High School in Cincinnati. He went to Minnesota out of high school, then transferred in. He was the right tackle. So when they miss on a kid in state, they still oftentimes get them back. And it's just incredible to me how many guys they have that aren't just good, but are quality players from the get-go when they do take them out of the portal. He played 761 snaps last year and started every game for the Buckeyes. Phillip Daniels, massive guy, plays right tackle, 6'5", about 320 pounds. So trenches are good. Quarterback is good. And do you think Ohio State recruits receiver well? They just got another one. Jett Harrison, Marvin Harrison's son. Yes, the former Syracuse Orange and Indianapolis Colt, Hall of Famer. Absolutely electric player. His son, I mean, talk about having pressure. But Jett is at St. Joseph's in the greater Philadelphia area. That is one of the best players in the class of 2028. He's already committed. They also have got Jameer Whyce, maybe the best player in the state of Ohio, defensive tackle from Trotwood, Madison, a famous program. And they're not even done there. They've done such a good job. Let's just dive in to some of their players that they have already in the boat. Jett Harrison, Jameer Whyce, I talked about. They also have Elijah Newman-Hall, kid that I love, at IMG Academy. He's from Tampa, but he plays at IMG, which is in Bradenton, in their 2028 group. Everything they do is just good. They've had 4 consecutive top 5 classes. It's just par for the course. And here are the numbers based by rivals. 2024, the 4th best class, 15 to 22 players listed as blue chips, meaning 4 or 5-star recruits. 2025, 5th ranked class, 18 of 26 players ranked as blue chips. 2026, 4th ranked class, 18 of 28 players ranked as blue chips. And the class that they're in right now, if it ended today, obviously there's still time, 15 of 19 recruits as blue chips. That is the 5th class. It is elite. They got DJ Jacobs, etc. And as I show here on the screen, they've already got Jameer Whyce, Jett Harrison, Elijah Newman-Hall. It's a constant opportunity to get it done. And here's what's likely next. Christopher Vargas is most likely going to be the quarterback that commits to them. Everybody's talking about it this week. I have not heard one person not predict him to Ohio State, so the cat's kind of out of the bag. I watched his film again today. He's from St. John's Prep in Massachusetts. Smooth delivery, confident throwing the ball over the middle, which is really unusual for a younger player. He doesn't hesitate when he sees it. He lets it rip, and he understands levels. What does that mean? He knows when he's got to take a little something off, put a little bit of float on it, a little bit of height, just over the outstretched arms of a linebacker or safety. He knows how to give his guy a chance without putting it in harm's way. And finally, there are times where he knows exactly where he's going. His head will snap around to the player he's going to throw to, and he lets it rip right after the ball is snapped to him. So Vargas is a top 10 player in the class of 28. He's probably going to commit. So Ohio State's class this year, next year, every year it's just good. I mean, here's the final part, and this is one of my favorite things to look at. They still take some kids that are 3 stars or low 4-star kids. It's not all top 200 players. And a lot of those guys develop. Look at the players they took over the last few years. Yeah, sure, most of them are going to the draft or elite. Arvell Reese was not one of those guys. He was a 3-star. A lot of people didn't know if he'd make it at Ohio State, but he was a good athlete, and they developed him. And that right there is the difference between winning and being an elite program, because no matter who you are, you've got to find a few guys that get over the top that weren't offered by Georgia, Texas, and everybody else. Now, he's a Cleveland area guy. Not shocking that they ended up signing him, but he wasn't a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. Look how far Arvell Reese came, ended up being top 10 pick, may end up being the best defensive player in that draft. It's possible. He's so versatile as a blitzer and a cover guy. It's incredible what he's capable of doing. And again, he wasn't top of the board for a lot of schools, Ohio State included, in recruiting. So their recruiting machine continues on. And just for fun, let's throw up the Ohio State schedule, because I think this is absolutely a crazy schedule, but if anybody can get through it unscathed, it'd be the Buckeyes probably. Here it is, 2026 Ohio State schedule. Ball State, my second alma mater, they will be going into the shoe the very first weekend. Good luck to them on September 5th. Of course, the next weekend at Texas, September 12th. The 19th is Kent State. They've got Illinois. I put them in black for those of you on YouTube or watching this live. Anything in black is a team that I think could give them some problems. I'll come back to Illinois in a second. October 3rd is at Iowa. If you haven't heard, they have pink locker rooms. It's a crazy place to play. Strange things happen to top 10 teams there. You never know. Maryland, that shouldn't be a very close game. October 17th may be the best game of the year in college football. My first alma mater, Indiana, hosts Ohio State. And that game could be absolutely crazy. Might be the best game of the year in college football. October 24th, the Buckeyes get their bye. That's way down the road, man. That's game number 8. That's tough. And right afterwards, it doesn't get any easier. The next 2 games, they go to LA to play the USC Trojans, and then they come home to play the Oregon Ducks. November 14th, they will play Northwestern at home. Good luck to the Wildcats. A little bit tricky at the end. They've got Nebraska on the road prior to the game in Columbus. The Michigan Wolverines will play in the shoe. So out of this schedule, a couple of notes. Number 1, I put Texas on there, Indiana, USC, Oregon. Those are obvious. Illinois and Iowa. Why do I think those are games they could possibly lose, or at least have some trouble? 2 things to note. Are you motivated? Nobody's going to tell me Ohio State's going to be as jacked up to play Illinois as Illinois is to play Ohio State. Number 2, that's a team that's going to play physical and downhill. The one thing that caused them problems last year were teams that would really run right at them. Indiana and Miami. They didn't score a ton on Ohio State, I grant you, but they stuffed Ohio State's offensive line. Illinois and Indiana, Iowa, those teams are going to play physical football. That's not something that Ohio State did well last year. Any of those teams, but in particular, like you expect that at Indiana. Illinois or Iowa? I don't know. Iowa lost a lot of their offensive line, so that'll hurt them. But defensively, they don't make many errors. Don't be surprised if that's a really good game. And at the end, Nebraska, they don't have as much talent, but that is the week before they go back home to Columbus to play Michigan. That's not a very easy way to go about it. And to be honest with you, I don't think there's any game you could play the week before Michigan to get their full attention anyway. But it's going to be an interesting week or so of practice, because they're going to have to try to do anything and everything they can to keep them motivated, because it's the Michigan game, and I get it. So we'll see how that goes. When we come back, we're going to talk about the latest commitments. We're going to talk a few recruiting notes and just have some fun right here on the Portal Podcast. Stick with us and make sure you jump in the chat if you're in here live. We're going to have some fun with that as well. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. There are more live events than ever right now. Games, concerts, festivals. You can go to an opera. You can go to a play, anything you want. Hard part isn't finding something to go watch. It's deciding which app to use without all the confusing checkout processes, confusing pricing, and just being absolutely flustered with the process. That's why so many fans are turning to Game Time, the app that is built for you, the fan, because of upfront pricing, seat views, right there on your phone before you buy, and exclusive savings. All you have to do is download the Game Time app. For me, I've done that. I've used it twice in the last year. Went to 2 basketball games. Had no problems. 5 to 8 minutes. I can find the team that I want, find a game that I want, and then I can just click on a seat. Use the seat view, find what I want. Every now and then, it may take a couple extra minutes. You can check it out, see if you like it, but it'll show you mid-court from where you're sitting. It's up to you. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Let's talk a little recruiting in regards to what's been going on here lately. Just a few of the commitments. I want to get these out of the way. There's some big ones that have happened in the last couple of weeks. So let's just go through them. Seth Williams, kid I know, played with Coastline, safety out of Lakeside High School in Atlanta, Georgia. He is going to be a Bulldog, 6'2", 180. He originally committed to Clemson. Seth's about 6'2", 6'3", really long, athletic kid, big personality. Curious to see what he does at UGA. Texas gets Landon Williams-Callis, the most explosive running back, in my opinion, in this class. Electric. He ran 10.61 as an 8th grader. Yes, literally. That is an actual time for an 8th grader. He's just outside of Houston, plays at Randall High School, one of the best programs in the state of Texas. He will be a horn. Cal gets Elias Mayo, big corner, 6'4", 190. If he's really 6'4", that's crazy. Cal Bears doing some work. Their roster is changing rather quickly. Next up, Arizona gets Jacob Whitehead at a Crean Lutheran, just outside of Los Angeles, corner, 6'2", 165 pounds. That is the latest on the commitments there. And I also just want to dive into a little bit of 2028 as well. Look, it's sped up so much, I have to talk about 2028 already. Like the quarterback board, the top 10, over half of them are going to be committed before this season starts. And they got 2 years of high school left. Here are a couple things to note. Like Alabama's already got 2 guys in the 2028 class. But Easton Royal, the 5-star and 20, I want to get a couple of these out of the way too. It's going to take more visits in the fall. Florida, LSU, and Texas. The interesting part is he's going to visit LSU allegedly twice. Now, he's committed to the Longhorns. Let's see what happens with that. But he's at Brother Martin High School in New Orleans, but he's been committed to Texas forever. Let's see how that goes. Ahmad Hudson, did you see the comments that he made? Now, he's been a guy that's committed to LSU. He's from Ruston, really talented tight end, but he's not necessarily happy about everything that's going on. He's made it clear that Nebraska's put more effort into it than LSU. Now that Ed Orgeron's there, that really surprises me. And maybe that was taking place before Big Ed got to Baton Rouge, but that was surprising. Nebraska's got a chance to get that kid, and he's from Louisiana. Nebraska in its current state shouldn't be able to get kids like Ahmad Hudson, who might be the best tight end in the class of 27, but that's pretty crazy. Jaden Miles, a running back from Baton Rouge. He could end up visiting LSU. He's committed to Florida State. As somebody who covers Florida State, I'm pretty interested in that. Bama for the class of 2028. Just want to bring this up. Nehemiah McCary, really, really good football player. Might be the best player in the state in 2028. Pass rusher. He's just under 4'7" at 240 pounds. Elite player at Maplesville. Probably going to be Bama. There's 2 big-time offensive linemen in the state. Both of them are trending Bama. Sam Bailey at Jemison High School and Joey Fleming at Huntsville, both Huntsville area. So there's a little bit of recruiting news on that front as well. But real quick, with the quarterback thing, again, with class of 2028, it's insane. So many kids have come off the board. Lucas Prock committed to Indiana recently. That's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, regardless of class. He is from the Hun School in New Jersey. Christopher Vargas is supposed to commit this week. We all know it's going to be Ohio State unless something changes. Donald Tabron's the one I'm kind of curious about, the kid at Cass Tech. Sounds like Texas A&M. That's so weird for a kid from Detroit, but that's probably where he's going to go. There's only going to be a few teams that are elite within the next month or so that don't already have a quarterback in the 28 class. I don't think Oregon's got one yet, but there's a kid from LA that got a great shot at. Notre Dame and Michigan, I'm not sure who they're going to get. We'll see how it goes for Florida, but they got a really good quarterback last year. But it's sped up so much. It's just incredible. Let's jump in the chat and kind of finish off the week with some fun. What's going on, everyone? Salty, how are you, sir? Did Ryan Day build the current Ohio State machine? Isn't it an extension of Jim Tressel's architecture, or had it existed in its most basic form before both of those coaches? Obviously, the portal is new. I think it really goes back to John Cooper. What was it, 91? Something like that he got there. Late 80s, Ohio State was down. If I remember, I think got beat by Indiana one year or came close to it. Like they just weren't very good. So with that being stated, that program got built up, and Cooper was a really good recruiter. Ever since then, since about 92, Ohio State's been probably the most consistent program since early 90s in college football. Florida State, Nebraska had runs. Miami's been up and down. USC had their run. Ohio State's been the most consistent. Now, they failed to win as many national titles as they should have, but you get my point. I would say, obviously, when Tressel left, they had that little probation thing. Urban's first year there, they went undefeated, but they were on probation. And then they won a title a few years later. Probably should have won a couple others. But they're always in the hunt. So how do you want to rank it in terms of the way it works? It's pretty simple. They keep most of the basic talent right there in the state that they want home, especially the linemen. And then on top of that, they cherry pick around the country. They'll get like 8 to 10 kids from the Buckeye State, and then they'll get 10 to 15 kids from random places around the United States. Atlanta, Texas, California, Florida, just like everybody else. Those are the 4 states they probably hit the most. You know, the Peach State has produced a lot of really good players for them, et cetera. But they just have a blend of national tradition. It's a big school. It's in a big city. Actually, Columbus is the largest city in the state of Ohio. And all that history and the money and the facilities, and they've had really good coaches. It's not hard to sell it. It's in the Big Ten. I would imagine that is one of the easier places to be an assistant and get a top 5 class, even if you're just average recruiters. And to be honest, the vast majority of the coaches they've had there as head coaches have been really good recruiters, not just solid, but really good recruiters. Obviously, Urban being at the top of the day, but don't discount Ryan Day either. He's a really, really good recruiter. Ohio State seems to have a machine every bit as competent and productive as Alabama's. Agreed. But Nick Saban won 6 titles at Alabama, and Ryan Day has won just his first. Why the difference? Saban's a better coach. You can say that of everybody. Ryan Day's a great coach, but he's not Nick Saban. Nobody is. I'm not going to blame Ryan Day for that. On top of that, he went up against Saban a few times. If Saban would have retired in 2018, Ohio State probably would have won a couple more titles. That's reality. Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, I mean, those programs were all at the mercy of Saban. So was LSU, Texas, etc. A lot of teams were in that 2nd to 5th area, if you will, and they lost to Bama either in the regular season and got squashed, got pushed out of the playoff, or they lost them in the playoff. Notre Dame just held its first fall practice. People tell me that the great one was head and shoulders above all others, easily the best wide receiver, explosive, fast, and strong. Is he wide receiver 1? Jordan Faison will be wide receiver 1 because he has the best decor with C.J. Carr. Now, who number 2 is? I don't know. That's a good question. Ohio State seems to currently be in a 3-way battle with Florida and Miami for 28 receiver Brysen Wright, who lives in Mandarin, which Jacksonville. Do the Florida schools have the advantage here? Like, everybody thinks he's going to Miami, but I would imagine that Brysen's going to take visits. I know Texas is involved. I'm sure Ohio State will come after him. I don't expect that to be a smooth recruitment. He is a freaky player. That's going to be a choppy recruitment. Ohio State seems to currently be in a 6-way battle for Kentucky, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame for Kellen Hall out of Louisville. With Partridge reaching success, is this a Notre Dame OSU battle? Actually, Oklahoma is the leader right now. He's just got a great relationship with them. Their D-line coach is an elite recruiter. I would imagine that one's probably going to have some twists and turns too, though. Let's see where he visits this fall in games. Ohio State seems to be currently trailing Miami and Texas A&M in the battle for 28 edge Asher Giotto. The Irish are also in the mix, and he is a priority for them. Where do you see Giotto going? Right now, Miami, but it's early. He's going to visit a bunch of schools this fall. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but we knew about him when he was a freshman. Like, he was flashing at the Under Armour event his freshman year of high school. That's really rare. I wouldn't be surprised at a lot of schools for him because he's going to take his time and make the right decision for him. Ohio State and Notre Dame are both prioritizing 28 safety Casey Barner. From Georgia, to me, he seems very similar to O'Don Schuler. Violent, excellent field sight and man coverage ability. Favoring Notre Dame or Ohio State. Ohio State, Georgia, I think are there. I know Notre Dame's involved, but I would bet on Ohio State or Georgia from what I've heard. Smitty, how close do you live to Powder Springs, Georgia? Not very close. And have you traveled there to see Casey Barner play and interview him? I've seen him in passing at the Under Armour camp, but he lives just outside Atlanta. I'm down on the coast of Alabama, so he's about 5.5 hours for me. So I will not be seeing him anytime soon, I don't imagine. With the black shirt completely merging with the chair, your head looks like it is floating in midair, like some Star Trek article. Thanks. Ohio State always recruits quarterbacks like crazy and good receivers. Lionel, you are 100% correct. Is Ohio State more like Real Madrid or Barca? Oh, now that's a good question. That's a good question. I hate Barcelona. I'm a Madrid fan a la Madrid. Salty Ohio State, it's the Manchester City. Wow. DJ, what's going on, man? How many of the Elite 28 quarterbacks will flip? It's a long time till then. I don't think a lot of them will because of NIL. I think a lot of people got to remember that these NIL deals are usually multi-year now. They're not, especially at quarterback, you've got to lock them in because once these kids commit, there's not many options. I don't think that many will flip. Has Hartline's departure affected receiver recruiting through 28? No. Jett Harrison is a top 10 recruit nationally. They kept the guys they had last year, a great receiver class. It really hasn't changed. That surprised me a little bit. Now, I don't know if they'll be coached the same, but they took the old LSU receiver coach. He's a really good coach too. It may change in time, but Chris Henry's there. That's a freshman. Like that, every year they get a 5-star receiver. It's been pretty incredible. All right, this has been a short one. Not many people showed up tonight. I know it's Thursday night. There's not a lot going on, but thank you to everybody that showed up for the Portal Podcast. Truly appreciate you stopping in. Please like and subscribe. We will be back again on Thursday. This has been the Portal Podcast After Dark.